Hey guys, this is Jay Lethal, the Blend Machismo, and woo, the Nature Boy, and you're listening to the Potsy and Tino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings you as tag team champions of the whole. We are the world champions. The road dog, Tino Gray. The badass daddy ass, Rob Potsy Potchek. That's right. We are the Potsy and Tino Show. Our theme song, as always, as you just heard that right there, is brought to you by. Stop it. No, sir. No, sir. I'm not putting my finger and having you. No. Our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called the Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for the low price of $9.99. 99 cents. I hate you when you do that.
Well, because
nobody likes it.
Yeah, nobody's bitching about it except you. So just because you don't like it, don't mean nobody likes
That's one person.
That's one person.
Which is more than zero.
No, we'll ask these motherfuckers when they come on.
Wow, you're calling motherfuckers now?
But we weren't here for Thanksgiving, so I didn't go.
When you should have. Because that was the perfect time to make the turkey sound.
Yeah.
So, well, Tino, you know, we always, oh wow, we've already got Michael Turner saying, "What's up,
Sunshine?"
But Michael Turner, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Tino's about to say
Sunshine.
What happened in his Thanksgiving.
Well, sunshine.
We might not hear that for a while after last night, but
no, because he's got blood on his mouth. But
well, apparently he's got a brain bleed, is what Tony Schiavone
they
said.
were saying he's had one before. I don't think that caused it. I think they were saying all this.
Well, he got hit in the back of the head, like that's something you got to watch out for.
They said he had blood plates. He's got plates in his neck, and he's had a brain bleed.
And he's had 8 different names.
Like, you fucked up. We call him Steven. It's Steven.
Steven Regal. But all right, so
fucking up and messing up and stuttering. I'm like, he's about to have a stroke on TV too, because he's like.
So Tino, last week was Thanksgiving. So when we go to the "What's Up with You," what was up with you?
We had a good Thanksgiving, man. My mom came. My father-in-law was there. My wife's had her aunt and her cousins, and then my friend. Waba came over with his sons.
Waba?
Waba. His name is John Waba. We always call him Waba. You met him. He's my guitar player.
Yes.
Yeah, so he came over with his sons. And then we just had...
Yeah, I like him.
We had turkey and food and watched football and passed the fuck out.
Turkey and food and we passed out.
We had so much food and so many desserts. Oh, my God. I was like, I busted. I felt like I was on a bus. Oh,
did you actually wear? Did you wear Thanksgiving pants?
Yes, I did.
Sweats?
Yes, I did. Of course, I did.
I didn't.
Oh, you hurt yourself.
No. I wore jeans, but I made sure to wear ones that I had a belt on. That when I took the belt off would expand.
Yeah, I did. I had the drawstrings, and I'm getting the drawstrings and just let it go.
I really think that, like, you know how they have different seasons for like fashion. That was pretty good, right? It's got some spice to it. Yeah. We're trying different beers tonight, folks. This is 2Xmas by Southern Tier Brewing. I have another one here from Breckenridge called Christmas Ale. We'll get to it. I don't want to. I want us to.
I was using my force.
That's yeah. Your dark force isn't working. Why's it gotta be dark force?
I said Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm. He said dark force, folks. But anyway, what was I talking about?
Your pants that expanded.
Oh yeah. So. No, we were talking about your pants that expanded.
I said I didn't have the. You said you had the belt. You took it off.
I took the belt off, and I was fine. Actually, I wore pants that were like apparently one full size too big because like when I undid the belt, like they wanted to fall off, and I was like, well, that's just weird. So so my Thanksgiving, my sister and brother-in-law asked me to come over like an hour early so I could help set up.
So they did that. Your mom and did at their house.
They were at their house. And
because you guys do it down by the
well, so that's what's funny. So for those that don't know,
you have to carry your dad down.
And we have to carry my dad, right? So the way ours works is if it's not great weather, so if it's cloudy, if it's rainy, if it's we do it in the garage.
Oh shit!
And we'll just move all the cars out, push everything out.
That's still a big garage, though.
It's a huge garage. Yeah. And then we put enough table space because we have like 18 to 20 people at the dinner, right? Well, this year, like all of a sudden we got told, hey, it's supposed to be like 62 degrees outside. So everybody should wear like a sweatshirt or something else. And sun was out. So you didn't want a sweatshirt because it was like 68 degrees outside.
With the sun, yeah.
And it was great. None of us complained. The only thing that like caused any issues was that like our back was to the sun. So you're sitting there wearing a hat so that you can not have any sun trouble. And then all of a sudden your neck's getting warm, so you got to turn your hat around so that you got it over. And my niece is like, "What? Why you got your hat backwards, Uncle Rob?" And I'm like, "Because my neck is getting burned." And she was like, "I guess that makes sense." So Tino, you know, I like to sit here and really let people into the life. You know that, right? Like I got my tattoo. I told everybody like heart surgery. Talked about, you know, like all that. You and Matthew a couple weeks ago. Matthew having his injury, 2 broken hands. My niece. And I'm not going to say too much about it.
Which one? Yeah.
So I've got 2 nieces and 2 nephews.
Right. The older one or the younger one?
The older one.
She's
18.
Damn, we're getting old.
Yeah.
Last time I saw her, she was probably 10, 11?
12. She's 18. She has a job.
She's driving?
She's driving.
Shit.
And she got a tattoo.
Well, she's 18. She said, I know.
Well, so she's like, "Does anybody want to see my tattoo?" And we're all like, "Sure."
Where is it first for you?
It's like here.
Okay.
It's like here. So not here, but like above that.
Like on the shoulder.
Like right below the shoulder blade.
So, but it's above, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like where the bra band would be, kind of. And she got like a little moon and a little sun. Okay. Not too bad. I don't even know if I should say what she wants to do next. Because she's already got a nose ring now. And my mom, born in the 40s, so you know, like, I don't know why anybody would ever put anything in their nose. It's like,
well, Nicole has a small one. Haley has one.
Yeah, but the stud is one thing.
Yeah.
She has.
Oh no. Yeah.
She has which seems to be the thing now, which is the.
It's painful.
I'm not a piercing person. Okay, I've got a tattoo now. You know, I got a tattoo now. You know, they probably gonna get 4 or 5 more, but not planning to ever get pierced. Okay. Says she wants to get another part of her body pierced.
Is it where?
Let's just say that it made the entire family go, "Aren't you worried about what that's going to look like when you're wearing your shirts?"
Okay, there.
And we'll leave it at that. So there, folks.
Oh.
Yeah, because like, why would anybody just get one?
I've seen girls with just one.
Yeah, me too, and I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, if you're gonna, that's like shaving half your head. It's like you're non-committal. Like, and I say that all the time.
I like when Nicole, when she first, I think she had Matthew because she had all that hair. Her hair's thick, so in the summer she had did the whole. She shaved this side, but she shaved this side, but still had, but it was a style kind of thing. Shaved and kept this one kind of bob.
See, I've never understood that. The whole like, oh, I'm gonna shave this, and then I'm just gonna leave it. Like I get the shaving underneath, but leaving the long hair on top.
I like that too.
Yeah, but the shaving one full side, like to me, that's non-committal. That's like, I don't really want to fully commit to a shaved head, but I don't want to not commit to shaving my head. You know what I mean? Like, so like, one titty piercing is the same thing to me. Like that to me is a person that sat there, and when it happened, they were like, no, you're not doing the other one. You know? But so I tried to do what I could to make her rethink it.
She's 18. She's not gonna listen. You know that, right? I'm just wondering.
Well,
from a dude that's a 22-year-old daughter, if she decides she wants to do it, she's gonna do it.
Well, I agree, except when you start talking about like medical worries and stuff like that, right? Like oh, if all of a sudden like you get this done, then it could medically cause you to have this problem later. That's when they finally start going, I need to research that a little bit, right? So of course I'm listening to this.
What the hell kind of medical? I want to hear what you said.
So when people get their nipples pierced, they get residue. Like stuff comes out of it for a long time. It's not like where most piercings, it's like, okay, as soon as it's healed, it's good to go. It's like, specifically with women, if the milk ducts get touched at all, they could have milk residue like that they've got to clean up all the time.
Okay.
So I was just like, I want you to think about that, because I know a lot of people that deal with doing tattoos and everything else. So I'm not telling you not to do it, because I kind of like when I see women with it.
Does she stop? Is that going to stop her from doing it?
I have no idea. That stopped our conversation, and that was all I needed. But you know when the conversation, you know when it's going to be weird again, is when we're all at the beach, and she's wearing a bathing suit.
Don't look.
Like, dude, I'm not going to try to look, but you're going to just like gander over, and all of a sudden it's going to be like, why she got 3 nipples on the one titty? Why she got 3 nipples on the other? You know, but even worse, it's going to not be me. It's not going to be Shane. It's not going to be, might be my little brother Dave. I don't know. But it's not going to be any of us. It's going to be my mom sitting there going, did you see what Rachel was wearing? Blah, 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 blah. Or did you see what Evelyn is wearing? Or did you see what Drew is wearing? You know, like anytime any of those kids have any of that stuff happen, so that way nobody knows which one it is. You just, like, in that situation, at that point, you're like, fucking mom brought it up. Yeah. Which means immediately after that, what happens with your scan of vision? It immediately goes to whatever they say. You don't want it to, but it fucking does. So, Chris Barrett's in the audience. Rob, check what I just sent to you on Instagram. I will. At this, I'm trying to find it. At the same time, Tino, I want to talk about something completely in the future, but next weekend. Oh, Tino wants to try the Breckenridge Christmas Ale. So, how's it smell? Go ahead and tell everybody how it feels.
It's cold.
Okay. You like that one? Can I have a sip of it? Okay. No, I'm fine with I'm fine with you saying, hey, this one's mine.
You upset? You get shit back.
Yeah. That one's a good beer. in the future.
I'm so pissed.
Because you're not going to get to be a part of it. So, Saturday night, December 10th. December 10th?
Yes.
So
That's what you said, yeah. Double check this.
Yeah, now I need to look. I got it pulled up on the one phone. So let's take a look. Let's make sure.
Sometimes they have their shit during the week.
FWE Live, December 10th at the historic Dorton Arena.
I've seen so much wrestling there.
Fortitude Wrestling Entertainment is going to have none other than your Olympic gold medalist, Kurt It's True, It's Damn True Angle. And I want to go ahead and make sure that we go ahead and tell everybody who else is going to be there. Eugene, or formerly known as Eugene. I think he actually has the okay to use Eugene now.
I thought he went back to his original name, but if he's still doing Eugene, that's cool too. That was a good character.
So I believe he is Eugene.
Nick. What's his name? Nick something. Eugene's real name.
Nick Dinsmore. Dinsmore. Not Stu Dinsmore.
No, like Dinsmore Stew.
No, not like Dinsmore. That's Dinty Moore.
Oh. I like that better.
Dinsmore Stew. No, Dinty Moore. I'm trying to find who's actually at the show right now.
Who's chanting?
You said it's Carlito.
That's cool.
That is cool. Fix it now. Fix it now. Just to give everybody a heads up, I'm trying to. So December 10th.
Camilla. That's her fucking name from NWA.
Camilla.
Yes.
So
I kept wanting to say Carmella. I'm like, no, that's not right.
So here are the people that you can meet and greet at the show. Are you ready?
Oh shit! I have to give you money.
Mr. Kennedy!
You can tell me that shit. Spot. You can tell me that shit. That would be fucking awesome. The Potsy and Tino show. That would be fucking awesome.
That's not cool to cut me off.
Oh, shut
Carlito.
Shut the fuck up. He's got to say, fix it.
How about, I'm going to do this. The Master Lock.
Oh, no.
The Master Lock.
No.
Chris Masters.
You don't do that. Bobby Lashley.
He does that.
Not like Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley do this.
How about La Resistance? Both Rob Conway and Sylvain Grenier.
Yep.
Gangrel.
That might be cool if you can get him to play the
music. Angelina Love.
Yeah, just because she has to.
Who you can actually get a picture. I'm sorry, one autograph and one photo for $30 at the show. Camille for $20. And there's a couple others that will be doing those.
So you didn't name him? Is that it?
What's that?
Oh, that's just like the people we would know.
Well, I also want to point out that I do believe that Matt Hardy has now been announced for the show.
Oh yeah.
But scissor me, daddy ass. Come on, he's gonna. Hey, don't you get Tino. We're advertising for the show. You
trying to scissor you.
Put the actual scissors fucking down, and you scissor me.
I'm trying to scissor you.
Put the fucking scissors down. And
Who wants to see a scissor?
Don't you? Fuck you. Anyways, what we're trying to do, our buddy Sean Cruz, Unfiltered Sean Cruz, who I've done some design work for recently. I'll be posting it on Instagram later, probably later tonight. Will be at the show as well. So a lot of local wrestlers will be there. I would say expect a lot of the people that have worked with the Hardys will be there.
I wonder if Jeff will be there. That'd be interesting. Maybe he's not.
He's not.
The schedule to be there. But
I don't think. Well, he might be in the audience. But if Matt Hardy shows up, then there's a possibility that Reby Hardy shows up and whatever else. But that is Saturday, December 10th at the historic Dorton Arena.
Yes.
But more than anything else, it's true. It's damn true, Tino.
That's cool.
Both Daddy Ass and Kurt Angle will be at the show. Carlito, Chris Masters, La Resistance, Eugene. So lots of different folks will be at that show. There is not a card posted yet, but you can go to fwelive.com to actually see about getting tickets, getting VIP passes, getting VIP background passes. Just so everybody knows, you can get a table that is floor seat level, a table for up to 8 people for $300.
How many people?
For 8.
Shit, split that shit 8 ways? Shit.
Exactly my point. It's like $40 a person. And that's floor level. Now they are going to have seats, and then tables and tables. Cool thing about the table service is there will be waitressing service for the people that are at the tables.
So I wonder if that's just drinks or it'd be food too.
So it says that drinks and food are extra, but you have service to get all of that. So people will be serving you.
That's what I'm saying, but is there serving food, or is it like concession food, or is it like
food and beer, but it is extra. So you have to pay for the food and beer.
I don't care.
But you don't have to get up from your table.
That's what I'm saying. They're bringing me I'll pay. I'm sure the food's not included. I'm saying, but I'll pay for the food, but they'll bring it to me. I don't have to get up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is an option for all of this. And then tickets. I mean, tickets are all over the place. But the cool thing is the meet and greets and whatever. Like I said, anywhere from like $20 to $35. Which, by the way, if you went to WrestleCade Thanksgiving weekend last weekend,
did you go?
I did not. But if you went to WrestleCade, it was normally like $40 to $50 a person. So the fact that like you're getting a full wrestling event for whatever you pay for the ticket, but then being able to meet like Angelina Love for $30 and getting a picture and an autograph, like that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal.
Damn good deal. Yeah.
That's
like a damn good deal.
Like that's pre what do they call it? Pre pandemic pricing. But seriously, wanted to make sure that I let everybody out there know. We're gonna post it in the Facebook group too, because a lot of people might not even know about the show.
Are we possibly gonna have special guests?
So I'm trying to work it out right now. My buddy Sean Cruz actually said that he is wanting to be on the show next Thursday, so that he can talk about his match as well as hype up the entire show, and possibly who the promoter is for this specific event. I'm not going to guarantee anything there, but I did tell them that I would talk about the show tonight. We'll talk about the show next week. If we have them on, we will let everybody know via social media, via Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter ahead of time, so that way you guys all know to be here. But I am pretty excited because what we would like to do is start branching the show out into the type of show where we can talk about that stuff here. Go ahead and try this one.
And maybe have wrestlers, whether they be indie, and God willing, maybe we can possibly even get a name on here as well. That'd be cool.
I mean, I think Unfiltered Sean Cruz is a name.
Yes.
He wrestled for the championship that was going on at Fayetteville Comic-Con.
But like a Matt Hardy or even a Shane Helms. Somebody.
I don't know who those guys are.
You shut the fuck up.
I know who Sean Cruz is.
Coffee.
Tastes like a peanut butter cup. What do you?
Tastes like coffee. It's just nasty. I don't know.
Anything else going on with you? December 10th, apparently you got a show in Hickory.
So yes.
So Tino won't be there. So by the way, next week, if I have tickets to the show, I may be offering a free ticket to one of our viewers.
Or Jason. But he might not go because that's Oscar's grandma with the orthopedic sketchers probably won't be there. So
Well, yeah. Sumi Sakai won't be there, but Jay, did you see the pictures that Jason took at WrestleCade? Jason went all out this year.
I don't know what the fuck that motherfucker's got money or something.
I think he just saves it all year long.
No,
he knows what he's spending it on, dude. He's spending it on a couple video games a year, and he's spending it on orthopedic sketchers. Jason, if you're out there, we love you, brother. We love you. But the fact that he gets so mad. So for those that don't pay attention to me and Tino talking about,
we started that shit last year.
A couple years ago. We went to a show. A Ring of Honor show, I think, as well.
And I think she was there. Sumi Sakai was there.
Sumi Sakai, I think she was the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Now this woman is like 68 years old.
Jason was
and Jason is like the biggest Sumi Sakai fan.
His grand milf.
God, that's like bad porn.
But so he was going. We were driving back. And he was going off in the car.
He was so excited about meeting her.
And then Rob said, "Why are you so excited about meeting Oscar's grandma?" And that was it. We ragged him for 2 hours. And then I'm like, well, and that's she didn't wear boots. She wears like orthopedic sketchers. And that was it. That was me. And
no. You were right. Bad. It was it when I sat there and said it was Oscar's grandma. But then, like, Jason was like, come on, guys, you gotta not be so mean about and then Tino sits there and goes, dude, I saw her shoes. She's wearing orthopedic sketchers. And I mean, I think
Velcro.
I think Jason was driving.
Yeah.
And the car went But I mean, we had stopped, we had dinner, we were sitting there talking to other friends of ours and everything. And Jason was so excited about meeting a couple people and everything. But meeting Sumi Sakai was like
almost like when he met what's her name at the NXT thing.
Yeah.
With the pirate hat.
Yeah. Kairi Sane.
Yeah, he had a hat and she talked to him and
now she's not even in WWE anymore. So getting to meet her.
He was so excited about that too.
Jason has a certain thing for certain female wrestlers, absolutely. And dude, second year in a row, Jason wore his Stardom jersey, just to see who would actually know that he's right. Now, interestingly enough, I like to talk about Busted Open because I'm a fan. I actually pay for.
They don't pay for us as much as we talk about
them. Maybe they will in the future. Maybe they will in the future, but Dave LaGreca got asked, so the host who's been like the creator of Busted Open, Jason looked at him and said, do you know where this shirt came from? And Dave LaGreca looked right at him and he goes, I do know where that shirt came from. And Jason was like, like that. And
I still think my favorite Jason story is when you said you guys went to Ring of Honor and he tried to get the fight with the Briscoes. That's my favorite Jason story.
Okay. For those that don't, and we're still in the what?
I know.
What's up with you? No. But this is great.
Yeah.
It was supposed to originally be a pay-per-view, and Jason said, "I have front row tickets. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah," because I mean, I already knew that it was Roderick Strong's last Ring of Honor show. So I was like, I absolutely want to be there because Roddy is like in terms of he really was Ring of Honor. I mean, the guy had been there for like 15 years at that point, or however long like the company had been open. Like he started there, he was there all the way till that weekend, and he was in a match where it was like him, and I want to say it was him and the Viking Raiders, who used to be called the Viking or War Machine. They were called War Machine versus the Young Bucks. I can't remember who their partner was. Might have been Kenny. I don't even know.
Okay.
But I was like, I want to be there because it's Roddy's final match in Ring of Honor, right? And Jason is like, I got tickets. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah. So we start going to get to our seats, and this is the Cabarrus. Yeah.
Charlotte Cabarrus.
No, well, it's Concord, but it's the Cabarrus Center or whatever. Like it's got a name on it now, but it literally like what pissed everybody off is that the top row seating they oversold, so there weren't enough seats. So people like 3 people had like row X seat 3. And it was like, well, what do I do now? Well, go talk to somebody and they'll sit you somewhere else. And they did, and whatever. Probably a better seat in a lot of cases. But Jason and I were sitting front row. And we were not TV side, but we were angled to where every time somebody got whipped into the barricade, it was right in front of us.
That's how we were when I went with him last time after my knee was fucked up. We were sitting behind the fence, the barricade. I'm like, Jason, somebody, and sure enough, the biggest dude they had, it was Lance Archer threw somebody in. I'm like, oh, watch to me.
Well, I had a Pepsi.
You had past tense.
Sitting on the floor, and that barricade came in, and suddenly it was everywhere. I mean, 5 rows back, my Pepsi was, but Jason, the Briscoes came out. The Briscoes were super heel at this point. I don't even remember who they faced, but whoever they faced was super over.
Doesn't matter because Jason made it for me.
It might have been Dalton Castle and the boy. No, Dalton Castle was world champion at that point, so it wasn't Dalton Castle. Anyway, Jason, like you can literally go on Honor Card or whatever, Honor Roll or whatever their streaming service was, and you could see the video of Jason sitting there leaning over and going like this and just screaming at them. And the Briscoes, like they literally turned the camera at us. And the Briscoes were like, I'll come out there and beat your ass, boy. And Jason's like, I'll beat a Briscoe. I'll beat a Briscoe down. And I'm like, Jason, and you see me, and I'm not kidding. I am sitting there going like this, and I'm like, I am not losing teeth tonight. Because the Briscoes ain't got no teeth. So they're willing to sit there and knock teeth out of people. And for real. Like they weren't playing.
New Jack style.
And they literally, like 6 times during that match, whipped whoever it was into our barricade just to sit there and point at Jason and go, I told you I'll come at you. And I was like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever been in. Like, this is great. This is awesome. But you dumped my soda. I'm angry now because like I need to protect Jason, and but Jason, like Jason's the sweetest guy ever. He's the nicest dude ever, and he's like, I'll mess a Briscoe up, and the Briscoe stared right at. I mean, if you watch the video, they are pointing right at him, and I got my hands on him like, shut up, Jason. Shut up! I am not getting beat up for you tonight. It was amazing. Like it made it feel like the 50s. like when your grandma would sit there and go, you're taking me my stories, and it wasn't just a soap opera; it was a fucking wrestling match, but yeah, so that was one of the great things. Last thing I want to talk about when it comes to what's up with me.
Sorry.
No, that was a good one. Been doing some writing. I say wrestling, but I've been wrestling with my writing because I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want to go with certain stories. But there was a story that I talked about not too long ago where it's got a pro wrestler as the main character, Stonkard, right? And
I always forget which ones I can and can't talk about, so that's why I don't say anything.
Well, first issue's written. Started designing some of the characters. Started talking to Eric, who actually is going to be the artist on it, the artist of Junior High Horrors. And the reason why I brought it up is because I received my copy of Psychotron, which is Eric's new book from him and a guy by the name of Doug Garrett. See how thick that book is? So it's a good sized book. I just ordered, when I ordered it from Kickstarter, I ordered the Iron Maiden cover, which is, if you look at the cover, it's based on one of the Iron Maiden covers. But they sent it to me with an original sketch and a couple Psychotron stickers. So I gotta give my boys some serious props because Eric, who
whatever that is, that.
Oh, that's a cardstock cover. Mm-hmm. But on top of being cardstock, it also is hollow foil.
What are the pages?
Oh,
this is nice.
Like they went top of the line in terms of the book. Like this nice. Is normal comic books are printed on like 40-page paper. This is on like an 80-page or 80-pound print. So Doug Garrett, who actually put this out, DG310 on Twitter, put this one out, and of course, because Eric was working on it, I had to do it. I had to get myself a copy. So there is the Iron Maiden cover. But like I said, it came with an original sketch of Psychotron. I've done some Psychotron artwork already. They haven't used it for anything, but it's good fan art. It's supposed to be like an 80s representation of what the futuristic like warfighter is supposed to be.
Okay.
So like when you see him and you see him having the metallic arm and you see him having the robotic face and everything, like it literally looks like something that an 80s movie that did this would look like.
Yeah.
So like when you're watching RoboCop and it's like, well, there's that guy who keeps sitting there going, I'd buy that for $1. And I don't know if you've seen the advertising, but there's like t-shirts now that say for $1 and it's him saying, but it's like nice. But it's like $1 print on the, but yeah, so that's kind of what it is. So the closest thing that I can represent it to, if you played Far Cry Blood Dragon, it's a lot like Far Cry Blood Dragon, where Far Cry 3 was a regular shooter. Far Cry Blood Dragon originally was like an April Fool's joke, but then they were like, oh man, people really want this, so they put it out. And what it was like a futuristic blah blah blah. But then they even, like, the main character, because it's all first person, the main character was voiced by Michael Biehn from Terminator. The guy that played Kyle Reese. Yeah. But then, like, when he'd sit there and go, I need a gun, all of a sudden he'd reach into his leg and he'd pull a gun out and it'd be the RoboCop gun. That's cool. Yeah, so that's kind of what Psychotron is. It's kind of like all of that. So really well done, really fun book. check out Psychotron on Indiegogo. I think it's still on Kickstarter. I know that the first issue is out now, so but they're already starting to plan the second issue. Eric, the artist of that, is the artist of Junior High Horrors, just so everybody knows. He is also going to be working on Stonkered with me, which, like I said, is the wrestling sci-fi book that we've got planned. We may see some professional wrestlers involved with that project.
What do you mean, like in the book or promoting it?
So a little bit of both, because the idea for Stonkered is that, all right, I'm going to tell everybody what the premise of the book is right now.
Okay.
You cool with that?
It's your book. I just, like I said, I never know what I can say and what I can't say, so I don't say shit.
All right. So imagine a world where the biggest wrestler of the last 20 years is retiring. Okay?
Kind of like the wrestler.
Yeah, except this is a guy that was around during the biggest era ever of wrestling.
The Hulkster.
No.
Okay.
Steve Austin.
Okay.
Okay? So imagine a world where this guy goes up against his boss. And we all look at it and go, man, I'd like to do that, right? Well, what does that guy do when he retires? That's what he's thinking. What do I do now? What if that world that he is in, he has to save an entire alien race from slavery? He just doesn't know it yet.
Okay.
So everybody think.
That's
Pretty fucking good concept, right? So yeah. So
Steve Austin meets the aliens.
well, it's like the Attitude Era meets Galaxy Quest.
Oh shit.
So of course, because I'm writing it and I created it, it's gonna have humor in it, because I can't write anything where I don't sit there and just go, okay, this would be funny if they say this. I just can't do that. But on top of that, like, we're taking the idea of, like, okay, these characters doing certain things and everything, like, and but overall, the first issue, like, for example, I've written the entire first issue. The entire first issue is like his last match. It's what's going on, it's what's going through his head. He's sitting there having reminiscing moments about, like, different big time moments of his career and everything else. And he knows he's putting the other guy over, right? But when that ends,
WrestleMania 19.
pretty much, yeah. You know, but when that ends, he's sitting there and he's sitting backstage and he's like this, and he's like, what do I do? Where am I going? What am I doing? Like, what's the next step? Like, do I start a podcast? Do I do this? Do I do? And these random two dudes walk in and they're like, hey, we need to talk to you about something that's really important to us. And he's like, yeah, talk to me tomorrow, because, you know, I got other, like, I want to go home. I want to take a shower. I want to do, you know, whatever. And before you know it, he's in space. Right? So that's like where it starts. That's the entire first issue. And I'm pretty excited about it because I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't know anything like that at this point. Like, I mean, I could probably have 2 more Junior High Horrors books come out before this comes out, just because Junior High Horrors, I could rip out a story and be like, okay, we're putting that out,
Yeah.
and you know, whatever. But Eric and I are pretty excited about this book, and I was talking to Sean Cruz about it tonight, because I was like, a lot of the scenes are going to be flashbacks, right? So it's going to be flashbacks to different matches that Jack Stonker has had, and in those moments, like, what do you think about, like, if I were to sit there and say, hey, Sean, do you want to be one of the characters that are, like, represented in the book? And he's like, dude, that's like a lifelong dream. Like, I love comics, I love wrestling. I that would be a lifelong dream. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, it's a lifelong dream for me to sit there and have wrestlers sitting at my table and signing the comics at the same time I'm signing the comics, so it just kind of makes sense, right? And he wouldn't be a major character or anything. He might, you never know. I'll probably be posting the first drawing that I did of the main character soon. But when I think about it, I think, okay, give me a professional wrestler who loves professional wrestling, that wants to advocate for professional wrestling, but wants to be an actor. What are some names that come up?
Rock, Cena, maybe The Miz.
Okay, there's 3.
Okay.
What about Edge?
Yeah, he's done some acting.
And the reason why I think Edge is because this is a guy at the end of his career, but yet can still give that performance. But when it comes to leading a revolution, like, you look at Edge and you're like, that's my guy, right? And so the main character is designed based on Edge, based on I was talking to Eric about it. I designed a look for the character, and he was like, yeah, but I want to make him look like the Edge of now, where he's got like the really caved in Skeletor look. And I'm like, yeah, of course, but because we're gonna have flashbacks in there of like his previous portion, I want to make sure that we actually show him like in all of the different because overall, everything I write, folks, and I know that we're gonna jump into wrestling, and we've got to, because that's what the show's really about. We've been on 45 minutes now,
which was my fault that did the story, but
no, but like with this, he's an actor. He's been on like 4 or 5 shows.
Edge.
Yeah. He's been in Vikings. He's been in the Highlander movie.
He had his own movie. It was like
that was a WWE produced film. That we can't really count that. But he was in Vikings. He was in Haven. He was in, So I mean, he's been in like 3 or 4 shows. He was probably on Psych, because most of those guys were on Psych back in the day. So I mean, but he still respects the industry of wrestling. So putting him in a role where he can actually say, well, this is what wrestlers go through, you actually would feel it from him. So I'm that's why I was like, he's the guy that I want, because back in like the 90s, you'd be like, oh, well, we'll design the character after Hogan. And then Hogan would bomb the film.
Yeah.
The Rock, never really played a wrestler, and there's a reason why. He did play The Rock in Fighting for My Family.
Yeah.
But he never played a wrestler, right? But this would be the kind of thing where Edge would be the Mickey Rourke character.
Yeah.
And he might go, this could really propel me. And the way I'm writing it is, I mean, it's pretty heartfelt in that first issue. It's going to become a lot more comedic going forward, because there's going to be some Flash Gordon moments and stuff like that in there where it's like, why is he picking up a giant thing that he has no idea what? Oh, he just blew a big hole in the spaceship, that kind of shit. But anyway, the concept to take that and be able to throw in the idea of having all that stuff happen, and then being able to say, hey, I want to table at a wrestling convention. Suddenly it's a wrestling book. So the wrestling convention may sit there and go, hey, I know that you had this wrestler as part of that book. Would you like to sit in? Yeah, absolutely. Or the wrestler sits there and goes, hey, you let me be on the cover of one of your books. Do you want to sit at the convention with me and actually sign the book? Fuck yeah. It works both ways. So yeah. So, and of course, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a comic book fan. Why not tie them together? Because there's so much overlap of the two industries anyway. I mean, the Young Bucks like comic books. Chris Jericho sat there and was originally supposed to be part of AEW comic book when they first started. You know, like Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian were actually in a book from Aw Yeah Comics, which is by some people that might be working with actually one of them's already worked with Troy on his book Kid Slapshot, but his partner Franco might be working with him in the future. So I mean, like, lots of cool stuff. But anyways, I know you want to get started on the comic or on the wrestling stuff.
Yeah, let's get this going.
Yeah, Tino's already been here for a little while. He maintained his championship on WWE 2K22
3 times in triple threat matches.
Where do you want to start?
AEW, a lot happened.
All right, AEW Dynamite last week. William Regal came out, and this was after the AEW pay-per-view where we sat with Jeremy Whitley and discussed like what was going on with AEW. And as we all know now, Maxwell Jacob Friedman is the world champion, but he won the title based on this man's prediction
that William Regal would get involved.
Not just get involved,
but
he would turn on Moxley. And you guys remember, I sat there and I was like, I hadn't thought of that. Like, I'm now thinking what like, I was completely baffled by the suggestion, and you nailed it.
As you can pick up little nuances in Regal, the way he would stand behind Moxley and just kind of look at him, and the little things they were saying, yeah, they kind of foreshadowed it.
So I heard something today, which also made me think that it was foreshadowing for the possibility of something else. We obviously haven't been on in 2 weeks, so we're gonna bounce around a little bit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the William Regal situation, immediately after that,
well, we got, because Moxley came out and threatened him, we got to let him know.
Yeah, Moxley came out and threatened him. Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson came out and stopped Moxley and said, "This is, I'm begging you not to do this."
But it's what Moxley said to him. I think that's what started it. Moxley told him, yeah, because Moxley was in his face. He was going to whoop his ass, talking about Regal. Danielson came down, and Moxley's like, you know what? Fine. He said, run, Regal, run, and don't ever come back.
Which had me sit there and message Tino and say, I think Regal's going back to WWE. And Tino was like, what did you say? Yeah, it was something along the lines of, wow, that's really moving a story along or whatever. But the point is that like we suddenly were like, okay, is Regal done with AEW? And then all of a sudden all the dirt sheets started saying, is Regal done with AEW? And I flat out said, if he has an out clause, he's done, because he's one of Triple H's guys running the business. And Regal doesn't feel like a guy that wants to be on TV every week.
I was thinking he would go back and be, because they really hadn't had a general manager. I mean, Shawn Michaels is kind of, but I thought that they'd bring Regal back to be the general manager of NXT.
Well, but bringing him back to be the general manager of NXT, and interestingly enough, obviously, like Triple H actually posted a GIF that said, this wouldn't be the same without this, and it's a video package of William Regal sitting there going, War Games! Yeah. War Games! War Games! You know, and like literally, it's like every time he said it, like the 3 years that they've done War Games. Yeah. So that was obviously a total nod to William Regal, but noticing that his he's at the 1 year mark of his contract. The question is, because when he originally signed with AEW, he said, I signed for 3 years.
Yep.
So either he asked for his way out and Tony Khan said, okay.
Well, why would he don't need to go back to WWE?
But Tony Khan, well, here's where I think that there's one spot that he'd be okay with. William Regal leaving AEW to go back to a backstage job. I don't think it affects anybody.
Yeah, but he's safe from the backstage and then he shows up on NXT TV.
But even look at his NXT GM career, he really didn't ever show up. Yeah. Except when he would sit there. Well, except during the Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano moments where it was like, did you just break my pencil? You know, like,
yeah, he was. Yeah, I'm saying I'm
not
saying he's there every week, but whenever they need something, like what Shawn Michaels is doing, whenever they need something.
But here's the thing, like with a guy. Okay, I guess the way that I would describe this is this. Tony Khan right now is paying for William Regal to show up on TV. Well, William Regal really doesn't feel comfortable being on TV. Okay? So he's paying him just so the WWE doesn't pay him. Right? Which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing to sit there and say, hey, we want to make sure that a guy who has a brain bleed and multiple metal plates in his back is able to sit there and live his life. That's great. It's really a good thing. But why does he have to be the one paying it if someone else is going to pay it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, William Regal's not going to move ratings.
But I would think, too, he's got a fantastic mind. Do you want to give up that mind that's been in that business and can probably push storylines forward? You know what I mean?
I think Regal is going to be the Raw general manager, is what Chris Barrett said. William Regal going back to WWE. RVD is into comics. Al Sanoa's into comics. Blah, blah, blah. Terry Funk is the only wrestler played an actor in a movie. I actually just watched an episode of the original Quantum Leap where Terry Funk was in it, which is crazy because Terry Funk looked normal. He didn't look like the old guy Cactus, but again, yeah, it's a great thing to have a great mind. Except, what's been the biggest problem in AEW?
There are too many people on staff.
Too many minds trying to give ideas.
Well, apparently the only ones they're listening to are certain motherfuckers they just let back who was down.
We're gonna get to that because I wanna complain.
Bullshit.
And you're absolutely right. The thing is that too many cooks in the kitchen. You know what? Here's what it is. When Vince McMahon was the only name that mattered during WWE, everybody liked Tony Khan because Tony Khan actually gave them more of what they wanted.
Yep. Now Trips is in.
When Vince McMahon got removed and Triple H was the main guy involved in all of that, Tony Khan started listening to way too many people. And what did that cause? Turmoil. CM Punk, The Elite, Eddie Kingston fighting Sammy Guevara fighting this guy, said like all this crazy shit going on backstage. What never happened in WWE? Backstage fighting, because you knew that one motherfucker was in charge of all of it. So it went from, oh, I'm getting listened to in AEW all the time and I'm getting over because of it, to why is this guy getting talked to all the time and I'm not getting talked to anymore and all this other shit. And in WWE, it was Vince McMahon doesn't listen to anybody. I don't know what's going on. And to Triple H going, I've got to keep all the egos in check. I've got to make sure that if I'm going to have Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross, that the two of them get over. I've got to make sure that the wrestlers get over so that the ratings actually stay the same or increase.
Yep.
Right? The one program that they still seem to be struggling with is Monday Night Raw. Why? 3 hours. Seems to still be the problem. But when you think about it, NXT now is firing on all cylinders. Hell, people are asking who is the MVP of NXT right now? On the male side, you're absolutely right. On the female side, it's fucking Mandy Rose. Without a fucking doubt, it's Mandy fucking Rose. And she was on her way out of WWE a year ago. But when she said, I'll take the demotion, I'll go to NXT.
Now they're thinking about bringing her up.
Well, they're not just thinking about bringing her up. She's like, I want to run.
Yeah.
And fuck yeah.
She proved herself. Yeah, dude, she's so improved. Oh my God.
She is the current Trish Stratus of this era, bro. And you can take that to the fucking bank. She is the new age Trish Stratus. She literally is firing on all cylinders. She is hot. She is sexy, but she can whoop your ass.
Guess who was? So two Attitude era people, and they're both women. So Trish Stratus, Mandy is this modern day Trish Stratus. Now I was reading somewhere else, they're saying that Rhea Ripley is the modern day China.
Oh God, no.
I'm talking power. I'm talking like she can take on men, women. I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? I think that
she is the modern age Beth Phoenix. Because Beth Phoenix could do the same shit. But Beth Phoenix always kept that element of femininity to her. And I know that sounded like I didn't say that word correctly, but I did. Femininity.
Yeah, you're right.
God. Go ahead, try saying it.
Femininity.
See? You had the same struggle I
said femininity.
Femininity.
Mellow, yeah, mellow.
But you're absolutely right. Carmelo Hayes is fucking awesome. And he is going to be a star if they bring him up correctly. Because I worry that he is immediately going to get put with either the Street Profits or, take a guess. Yeah, Hit Row.
Hit Row. No, I would love to see them bring him up and put him in a program with Ricochet.
They already had a program with him and Ricochet in NXT.
They had one match. I'm saying
they had 2 matches.
But give him a decent.
But they already had a program, which meant that yes, he proved that he could do it, and that was really to elevate Carmelo because at that point Triple H had already said, Ricochet, you're there, right? But I agree. You know what I would like even more? Those two in a tag team.
Yes, that was my next thing.
I mean, or Cedric Alexander and Carmelo Hayes in a tag team. Wow, bro. Wow. But I'm gonna catch heat. Mm-hmm. Terrence, friend of the show, has said that WWE is only willing to really promote one urban tag team at a time. Now, granted, right now I think that they're doing 3. The New Day, Hit Row, Street Profits. So I think that's not correct. But
I mean, you can probably add Usos into that too.
Not really. That they're bloodline, so they're okay. They're Samoan before they're anything else. But
they're urban.
They speak urban. You're absolutely right.
They're down since day one-ish, and from the Uso Penitentiary.
I agree. My point, though, is that Triple H has already proven that he is willing to promote multiple urban tag teams at the same time. But it worries me that someone like Carmella will get lost in the shuffle because of it.
I don't think so. That's what I used to worry about when Vince.
I mean, what is the big difference between Carmelo Hayes and Ashante the Adonis?
Carmelo Hayes is 10 times better than Ashante the Adonis.
They have the exact same look.
No.
They have the exact same look.
So I have to look at him. I really don't remember what Ashante looks like right now. So
They both have the cornrow fucking ponytail. And the gold tooth.
So you got Mandy Rose.
And they're both about 206 pounds, and they both are high flyers.
You got Dana Brooke. So we're saying all blondes are starting to look like
you just said Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and they are completely
well,
two
they
opposite.
used to be blondes. I'm saying,
but they're not. But they're not.
What's the tall?
When was the last time you saw Carmella?
The Bigfoot bitch just coming back.
When was the last time you saw Carmella?
When she was blonde. Yeah.
No. When was the last time? Months ago.
What I'm saying, if you're going to say that they have the same look because they have braids, that's like saying all the chicks are look the same because they're
My
blonde.
problem is with it, and unfortunately, you might be right on what I'm saying, but my point is that if too many people look exactly the same, none of them get over.
Okay.
Am I wrong? The reason why Mick Foley got over is because he was the only fat guy who wore sweatpants that was a pro wrestler at the time.
Then you had who was it? Goldberg and fucking
Austin.
Yeah, they got over. They look the same.
They
Goldberg's bigger.
They didn't look the same.
Bald with the black shorts.
One was a Jew with a tattoo, and one was a Texas rattlesnake.
You got a couple of guys that look the same in the roster.
There's always a couple. My point is that if you have too many, someone gets lost in the shuffle. I'm worried about like if I were Carmelo, I would want to stay in NXT and I'd want to take down Braun Breaker because Braun Breaker moving up to the national spotlight leaves Braun Breaker where he's the only one that looks like him.
Yeah.
But Carmelo could really come into his own, kind of like Adam Cole did.
Yeah, but eventually Carmelo's going to have to come up.
Yeah. But by then, you kind of hope that Hit Row is where they are in the card and everything else. And let's be real. If Vince McMahon were running WWE right now,
thank God he's not.
Hit Row would suddenly have Carmelo Hayes in it.
Hit Row wouldn't be back if Vince McMahon was still running.
I mean, if he was running right now and they brought back Hit Row because they're like, oh, I made a mistake. I need to bring them back. Because who did they lose?
They lost Swerve.
So what would they do? They would literally chunk somebody into that spot. Tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Exactly.
But it wouldn't be the same.
But even
Swerve to come back.
But even with that, like I think that there's worry that suddenly too many characters don't differentiate themselves enough.
Okay.
And I think that's at all aspects of the card. I like the brawl. The one thing that Triple H is doing pretty well is he's teaming the right guys with the right guys, right? So like the Brawl and Brutes. That was something that was started by Vince, but it works. And they're over.
Was Sheamus added before or after Vince?
Sheamus and Ridge were together, and they added Butch before Vince was gone.
Okay.
So all three of those guys were together ahead of time. But now it works. It works. And it's because 3 European guys that just like beating the hell out of each other. But they got rid of we can't control Butch. Like, we don't know why that guy keeps running off like an unguarded dog.
And I think he's coming back. He's not wearing the Bam Bam clothes, but I think he's coming back to more of the Pete Dunnish characteristics are coming back.
But again, and you and I have had this conversation, the reason why he's still called Butch, even though he is Pete Dunne now, I mean, like, his mannerisms, his execution, everything else, it's all Pete Dunne. Like, you saw it at Survivor Series when he sat there and took Jey Uso's hand and
broke his hand for real.
Well, his hand was already broken. They said it 2 weeks before that his hand was broken.
I noticed that when he did the whole thing, and I think he fucked it up. That's when he started. He was like, "Oh, I think I broke my hand." I thought it was after Pete did whatever he did to the fingers.
Dude, I think that they went backstage, and Pete Dunne and Jey Uso were like, "Okay, my hand's already broken. Can he do it even worse?" And they were like, "No." So go ahead, let him sit there and do what he's gonna do. It's similar to like the Cody Rhodes with the pec muscle. It's like, can he hurt it worse? No. Okay, go ahead and do your worst to it. Like, just keep beating the shit out of it until it turns like fucking black. Whatever.
Blackly before the match started. Jesus.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
oh God.
Oh, I'm going in for surgery on Tuesday anyway. Is it gonna be is me going into a match and having him like sit there and just go like this to it gonna make it? No, it's not gonna do it. Okay, then go ahead and do your worst to it, and I'll go in for the match, and I'll go in for surgery afterwards. I bet that like with Jey Uso, they were talking about how like a week before they had the world title reign, like for the longest reign ever, they were sitting there saying, his hand's fucked up. I
didn't hear that.
He's done broken like 2 feet. It's like it was like a bone here is broken, right? Okay. So now I was impressed because they taped that son of a bitch up, and he kept sitting there hitting people with it, and you're like,
I didn't realize it was broken. If I don't know that, yeah. I was impressed when Cody Rhodes got in that ring and did what he did, but
with Jey Uso, that's what they were saying. They were like he broke the shit out of it. So now when he's like, I broke my hand for real, it's like, you broke your hand for fake earlier? No, we know it was fucking broken. Don't fucking bullshit with us, Jey Uso. Okay, whatever. But all that being said and done, like we see that Butch, again, WWE wanting to own the character, owns Butch. They don't own Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne was Pete Dunne before he ever got to WWE. So being Butch makes sense. Now, it's kind of like Mitchin Mia Yim. I don't know what Mitchin means.
Mitchin, yeah, they do. They say it every week. It's Korean for crazy.
Oh, well, great.
They say it every week.
I hadn't listened. I'm normally fast forwarding through those matches just so I can watch all of the 3-hour show, but at least she's Mia Yim, right? And I think that's because when they brought her back, they were like, she's Mia Yim. Like, we're not going to change her name now.
Yeah.
Like Io Sky, they changed the spelling, but they kept calling her Io Sky at least. They just didn't have it.
She was Io Survive first and then changed it to
Sky. No, when she came up to WWE.
Yeah, I'm saying in NXT she was Io Shirai.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. They changed that because I think that's so stupid.
But that was Triple H run. But now Triple H understands, probably because the 2 CEOs, his wife and Nick Khan, Saint Nick, as MJF likes to call him, probably sat there and said, we need to own these characters. Okay, well, we'll change her to Io Sky. Well, it was Io Sky before, and now it's IYO Sky.
I noticed that.
Exactly, yeah. So,
all right, well.
Anyways,
the AEW Dynamite. Let's finish this up and go ahead with your rant. Because
Well, let's go ahead and talk about what happened during the segment with, well, okay, before we get to the MJF segment, Hangman Page finally returned this week.
Okay, I thought you wanted, because they started the trios thing last week, so you just want to jump this week AEW?
I'm going to talk about the trios thing like all at once.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right,
because I mean it's
got you.
But John Moxley comes down to the ring, starts talking, says that nobody's man enough to sit there and stand up to him, and then
that is damn music. It's like the Four Horsemen used to go.
And then all of a sudden Hangman Page comes walking down in the ring wearing some fucking cowboy shirt out of like a 1980s.
He's wearing cowboy shit.
Yeah, he is. They need to update him.
Cowboy shit.
Anyways, and he's from fucking Virginia or West Virginia, so why the fuck is he wearing cowboy shit? He ain't fucking from Texas or Arkansas. But anyway, so he comes down, and John Moxley sits there, and he says something like, or did you not remember when and all of a sudden, just wallops him and like sends him out of the ring, and they just keep fighting. They walk all the way to like they have to separate them. They fight again. They separate them. They fight again. They separate them. They fight again. They get backstage, and they're like, "All right, let's."
He's walking in the back. He's got his man bun, and he sees him coming, and he throws him into the door.
Fuck the man buns. They get to the point where like they're showing a match, and before you know it, they're like, "We're gonna have to go backstage," and they show like John Moxley attacking Hangman Page on the way out of the building. Now, the commentators the entire time are like, "We don't even know if Hangman Page is cleared." It's like, why the fuck's he even on TV if he's not cleared? Like, shut the fuck up at this point.
That's because he was in town speaking to the doctors to get clearance. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. So if he's concussed, he's going to attack Moxley, who's going to fuck him up. Throw him into the ring the ringside barrier.
Yeah.
They're just all over the floor. Yeah. And Ruby Soho.
Ruby Nose Ho.
She came back and whooped that.
She got a brand new nose, bro.
I think the best part of that.
She got a brand new nose.
I think the best part of that is when fucking Tay hit her and she just didn't move. She ate it. I was like, oh shit. And then my other favorite part is when they were in the alley in the breezeway and she hit her and Tay would like this, put her legs together.
Let me put it this way.
Oh God.
Ruby Soho coming out. Now this is after they broke her nose and had her nose repaired. She comes out. She got a better nose than half the women in Hollywood.
I didn't even notice the nose.
No. Terrence mentioned it tonight to me. He sits there and he goes, "Did you see Ruby Soho?" And he's like, "Did you see Ruby Riot's nose?" And I'm like, "You mean Ruby Soho?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know what I mean, Rob." And I'm like, "No, I didn't see it." And he goes, "Look that up." So I start looking it up on it, and I'm like, "Holy shit, she got a brand new nose!" Like her nose used to be like this, like fucking. Like the Necronomicon, like flattened out on set. But now all of a sudden she got this little like button nose, and they're like punching her right in the button nose, and it's like ain't doing nothing. Like they put something inside her face. I don't know. All I'll say is that Ruby got a new nose, and everybody on the internet is like, "Damn, look at Ruby's nose. That's a good looking nose." And I'm like, what? But then I saw it and I'm like, okay. She's got a new nose. I don't know what they did to it, but good for them. Like they must have put some styrofoam in there. It's I don't know.
Anyway.
But it's nice to see Tay Conti back, except for the fact that like she's just gonna sit there and go, yeah, bitch, and then get her ass beat again.
Joe defended his belt.
One of his two belts.
Yeah. Wardlow was backstage.
But Wardlow sat there and gave him shit and said, I'm going to take that belt back. Now, if I were Wardlow, I wouldn't even take back the TNT Championship. I'd go to Final Battle, and I would take back the ROH TV Championship. And then on top of that, like, at this point, I would just combine those two.
Yeah, cool.
Like to me, it would make the TNT Championship matter more, especially since it always seems to get like on TBS instead of TNT. But you know what I mean.
All right. We got MJF and then the trios thing. So we already pretty much touched on the MJF.
So let's go into that.
Fucking Regal up. And the new belt. What do you think of the new belt?
I love the new belt. It looks like horse shit.
Yes.
But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Bryan Danielson was Daniel Bryan.
With the tree.
And he had the damn tree belt, like the damn hemp belt.
Yeah.
The hemp belt. That's what it reminds me of. And he's calling it the Triple B belt. Because it's the Burberry.
The big Burberry belt.
The big Burberry belt. But I'm going to tell you, okay, so I heard today that people are talking about how Regal actually looked over his shoulder and closed his eyes, waiting to be hit.
I watched him. He looked down. He looked over his shoulder. He kind of, because I watched it back to see if he kind of tensed up, and he kind of.
He knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming.
But here's my thing about it. There is a moment where he knew it was coming. And it was when MJF was standing on the opposite side of that belt. And he goes, William. And he put the nuts on. And he goes like this. And he's like, and you don't see any reaction from Regal. But Regal's staring right at it. He put the nuts on. And he's like, I got to give it to you for making sure that I had these available to me. And he put them on. And then he put his hand in his pocket. So anybody would know that some bitch has those motherfuckers on.
And he walked behind him.
Hey, he walks behind him and he goes, and I want to give you something. What the fuck else is he going to give him? It's not like he's gonna pull out a quarter.
I got
You know what? Why don't you grab a quarter out of my pocket? No, he literally put the nuts on and said, I'm so glad you gave me these. Let me come around behind you right now, and you know what's coming. But it makes people think that it's actually, if Regal's still under contract, that Regal is going to prove exactly how dastardly he is by saying that MJF needed to do that to make him the most dastardly person in pro wrestling. I love the idea. I just think it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Because last week, when Moxley wanted to beat the shit out of William Regal, we were all like, William Regal's on his way out. Like, his 1-year deal is done.
Here's another thing.
Good.
Because during that MJF promo, he was running down people, and he ran down Daniel Bryan in the process too. Last week,
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, but Daniel Bryan, I'm saying specifically because last week he ran down to protect William from Moxley, but this week he was in the trainer's room when
Yeah, he was in his underwear when he ran out.
No, he was still wearing wrestling trunks and one boot.
They weren't wrestling trunks.
Those were his trunks.
No, his trunks are red. He was wearing black something. He was wearing like.
I wasn't even. I was looking because
he was wearing like bicycle shorts.
Bitch only had one boot on. That's why I was like, "Why you got one boot and the other using barefoot?"
Well, that shows
with your knee pads down.
That shows how real it is, right? But here's what's interesting. He mentioned Ethan Page, which makes sense because he wants to go after the
And he
firm.
mentioned
He mentioned Eddie Kingston.
and Starks.
He mentioned Ricky Starks. But then he also said, I don't want any of these matches unless they're on a pay-per-view. And
so this bitch is trying to pull a Brock Lesnar.
No.
He's not gonna defend his belt.
No, the thing is that AEW is gonna make him defend it once a month, right? Because they've really held to that. Yeah. I've been pretty impressed with how they've held
the whole 30-day.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, because they've already said whoever wins the Diamond Ring is gonna face him, but because he was the original Diamond Ring owner,
he gets a bye or some shit.
Well, no, he has to face him, but it's not going to be for the World Championship or whatever.
Oh, because I know, because last night Starks was saying that he's not only because he's already got number one contender, but he was going to enter that because he wants everything that MJF has. So he wants the ring and he wants the belt. So
I think he's got to win twice, is what they're basically saying. Instead, because like normally when you win the Dynamite Diamond Ring, you get a world title match.
But he's already got the world title match.
Well,
that Winter's Coming, whatever that's called.
Well, he doesn't have the Diamond Ring though, so he's got to win the Diamond Ring. He's the number one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He wants to win that Battle Royal, get the Diamond Ring, then he wants to go on and take the belt. He wants the ring and the belt.
But Ricky Starks is the number one contender for the World Championship right now.
Did you not watch the fucking pay-per-view where he won that the tournament? He beat Adam Page, Ethan Page.
No, I thought he had to beat Ethan Page on like the next week.
No, that pay-per-view when that was the end of the thing when he beat Ethan Page. That was for the finals of that tournament to become number one contender. Yeah, Ricky Starks in 2 weeks at Winter is Coming is facing MJF for the belt.
God, their number one contendership sucks.
No, Ricky Starks, man. Ricky Starks is. I'm telling you.
I mean, he's a solid wrestler, but he's a solid United States Championship.
I'm telling you, he's going to be the next. That's what everybody said about that. The fucking Rock. I'm telling you.
He's Austin Theory, man. He's not The Rock.
I'm telling you. I'm arguing this one. Normally I would agree. No, I'm disagreeing with this.
He's literally The Rock if you put him in like a funny house mirror.
What I'm saying is, his character, the whole thing, he reminds me of when The Rock came out with the fucking pineapple. He's gonna come into his own. I'm not saying he's gonna win the belt now. I'm saying he's gonna be that next level main eventer.
I would say Ricky Starks could be world champion in Impact.
Nope.
I would say that he could be world champion in.
I'm disagreeing with you on this.
NXT.
Disagreeing. Nope. This time I usually let you slide and I'll let you slide on this one. No. And let's see what they think.
Andrade, Sasha, Regal, and FTR are WWE beyond. That's the last.
I'm saying I want to go to them and what they think about the Ricky
Chris Barrett.
No.
Tino wants to know what he's the one. He's the one posting shit.
There's other people in there.
Michael Turner.
Chris Barrett's gonna try to say fucking damn
Danhausen.
Baron Von Raschke's gonna come back. No, the fucking claw.
Okay. While they sit there and start giving their opinions about all of that, Trios title.
Here you go.
Tino, how did you feel about the pay-per-view where 3 EVPs were basically like written off television for 2.5 months, given a fucking vacation, if you will, and then randomly got put in a trios match?
That was bullshit. I told you it was bullshit that day. I still say it's bullshit to this day. And I also say it's bullshit
right now.
No. It's bullshit that they lost that match at the fucking pay-per-view. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, oh no, that doesn't count.
Wasn't even that next week. Wasn't even next week. It was that night. It was that night at the fucking pay-per-view.
No, we can't.
Because I got up to go to the bathroom.
We can't have this. This is gonna be best of 7. What the fuck? No. So you're setting them up to win. No, it's bullshit. Then they were down 2-1.
Well, they were down 2-0.
2-0. I'm sorry, 2-0. and all of a sudden they're back. You know they're gonna come back out of nowhere and win those fucking belts. So I'm like, and it's bullshit, but I'm gonna let you have your Rob's rant because we ain't had one in a long time. And this one I agree with you. I ain't gonna argue. I'm gonna let you just go do your thing. I usually would stop you like, no, you're absolutely right. This one's shit. Tony Khan needs to quit doing the circle jerk, circle suck with them and just let them go just because they're EVPs. They're gonna fucking walk in. Who did they beat to get the number one contender? See, I'm doing your rant for you. Who the fuck did they beat? All of a sudden they came back like, oh, here's a, and then all of a sudden they fucking materialize the Wednesday before, like, and then they come in and they get a fucking title shot. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
Let's go ahead and start with the fact that we now know for a fact why Cody Rhodes left.
And before you get started, the Facebook, I mean, we're still, I'm still pissed. The TikTok you sent me.
You keep going.
The TikTok you sent me with the thing.
Go ahead and explain it. I'm gonna grab this beer.
Pretty much what it is, and I'm gonna let you go. So I don't.
No, I want you to talk about it.
I don't remember. I just remember like they had a split screen of down here was the Elite, and up here was CM Punk doing moves, and it's every CM Punk move he did up here, they did it in that match at the pay-per-view, kind of like. Sure. Even the one when he tripped coming into the ring.
Everything he was called out for, they did. And what we mean by that, folks, is that one of the Jacksons went to do the buckshot lariat and landed in the ring and fell on his knee. Like, oh, which, by the way, is exactly what CM Punk did when he was supposed to hit Hangman Page with the buckshot lariat. Then there was a moment where Kenny Omega grabbed Pac by the arm and started biting him, which was supposed to symbolize the exact same thing that CM Punk was said to have done to Kenny Omega.
And go to sleep.
And then Kenny Omega, during the same match, sat there and went like this, and then picked Pac up and hit him with the go to sleep. And during all of that,
and that was during the pay-per-view.
No, that was the following week.
Oh,
that was the because the following week was in Chicago.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So it was in CM Punk's hometown, and the statement that I heard was that Tony Khan didn't talk to them about what they were going to do during the match. So they just did it. And they discussed it with Death Triangle or whatever, and Death Triangle said, okay, as long as we get the win. Well, first of all, I want to go ahead and point out my number one problem with the Elite.
They don't sell.
Is that no matter how much they sell, everybody else sells more. They get beat the fuck up. Like when they finally when the Young Bucks finally lost the tag team championships months ago to the Lucha Brothers, the Lucha Brothers were both a bloody fucking pulp. The Young Bucks kicked out of every single thing that they came up with. And the Lucha Brothers finally caught them at the end, right? They legitimately do not look like they're any better than anybody else. You literally have two. The Young Bucks, to me, are literally like I'm looking at them at this point, and I'm like, why are they even on TV? There are so many better tag teams than them. Like, what are they known for? Oh, Super Kick Party. Fucking Shawn Michaels did the Super Kick 15 years ago.
BTE trigger.
Oh, the BT.
Which
Which, by the way, isn't that just like 7 different super kicks? Or
They
something?
do it with their knee.
Right.
Their knee, yeah.
It's just 3 knees at one time. I am blown away by how much people sit there and go, these guys are the best in the business at this point. I totally understand why Cody Rhodes wanted to get the fuck away from them. I do. I hate it. I hate it for AEW right now because at this point, if I were a WWE employee, which by the way, this includes people that have left and gone to AEW. Like, when was the last time Miro, who is not injured, was on TV? This is a guy who everybody said should be going for the world championship. When was the last time that any of those guys that ended up leaving and going to AEW have made anything of themselves?
I'm surprised Aleister Black came back. I thought for sure he was out the door. Malachi, whatever he's calling himself.
I think so. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, just because you brought that up, with Malachi Black, he signed a long-term contract because he thought his character was over enough, and what they wanted to do with him was over enough to get him to where he felt like he deserved to be. The problem is that he wasn't as over as he thought.
Yeah.
Like, he was perfectly... I'll say right now, when I saw the Buddy Matthews versus Malachi Black match at WrestleCade last year, that's a year ago now, it was one of the best physical matches I have seen since Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander in Charlotte, North Carolina, when the two of us went.
We were here.
Was it
It was
Raleigh?
SmackDown.
I thought it was Charlotte.
It was SmackDown. It was here.
It was Raw because they did 205 live.
Yeah.
So it was Raw.
It was PNC. Okay.
Yeah, but it was PNC. You're absolutely right. But even still, those 2 matches, I was like, these are 2 of the most amazing matches I've ever. Like, I'm so glad we didn't leave to watch that 205 live match. But the Malachi, and I saw that with Jason, and I saw it with Justin Darr. The Malachi Black versus Buddy Matthews match was a stunning match, and I'll tell you right now, I don't think there's any way that Kenny Omega would have put a better match on. Like, he wouldn't have. So all these people that are like, oh, Kenny Omega's the match machine and blah, blah, blah. Like, at this point, I'm going to tell you right now, those 3 guys are not doing any more for the industry.
Why are people still cheering? They're supposed to be heels, but why are we getting cheered?
Are they heels?
Yeah, they're still trying over the faces.
Were they? Here's my point. I don't know who's the babyface and the heel in the trios matches because the Bastard Pack sounds like he should be a heel.
I don't know. I don't like the elite.
I love the idea of trios championships. I don't. Okay. We went from AEW not having enough champions to AEW having too many fucking champions. They still don't have a Ring of Honor Women's Champion, by the way.
I thought it was Mercedes Martinez. Yeah, she just hadn't been showing up.
I don't think she's under contract.
Yeah, but she is the champion.
Well, it's either her or it's Roxy.
No, not Roxy. No, she beat Roxy.
My point is that it's one of those 2, but neither of them are under contract. So they don't have a place. But think about it. At this point in AEW, you've got the AEW World Champion, which is MJF. Yeah. You've got the Ring of Honor World Champion, which is Chris Jericho.
Ocho.
You've got the TNT Champion and Ring of Honor TV Champion, which is
Small Joe.
You've got the All-Atlantic Champion, who is
Orange Cassidy.
You've got
FTR, all those fucking belts. I think they're ROH, AAA, And
well, AAA is not their company.
whatever, but they're Mexican tag champions, whatever that. The Mexican AAA.
AAA, yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was
No. When it comes to FTR, they are the Ring of Honor, the AAA, and the IWGP World Champions. But then on top of all of that, you also have the
what's her face?
The AEW Tag Team Champions.
My boys, Sesame Daddy, everybody.
Come on, you want to do it again? Okay.
Just you move my sister.
Yeah, you fucking do it.
No, I've already said
you said your boys.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
No,
you got
boys.
Anyway,
come on. Got them.
Not them boys. Come on, do it.
The Acclaim. No.
Just fucking do it. You want to do it. You
want. No, I don't. Stop.
Quit being an ass about it.
We got 20 minutes.
We got more than that.
Well, 20 minutes will be 2 hours. So
at this point, I'm going to tell you, on 3 hours of television a week, AEW has way too many fucking championships.
So we're not counting, because I guess they don't offend them on Dark and do they Elevation.
I don't know if they do.
Yeah, too many champions.
Too many champions for 3 hours.
I think they have more. We hadn't even listed, but yeah.
I mean, WWE even got rid of the 24/7 championship.
Hopefully they'll bring him back for like a women's intercontinental champion. That'd be cool. I think they were talking about that.
There's a rumor. I don't think they will unless they do a women's pay-per-view again.
Because they have a mid card. They have the intercontinental and the US. I think the women's do need like a.
I am totally two women's championships and a women's tag team championship. That's a lot, especially since they have a women's champion in NXT and a women's tag team champion in NXT.
2 world championships, 2 tag teams. Remember, we got the
where are you talking about?
So Roman has 2.
Nope, he's got 1.
Those are 2.
He's 1 champion,
just like the Usos. I don't care.
And he's not on both shows. So I'm sorry, I disagree.
All right. Anyway, finish your rant. So what are your feelings on? And all of a sudden they're 1 up, and they're coming back to sweep it. So what are your feelings? Because you know what's going to happen. Because that's how they're going to book themselves.
I think
if I was on that roster, I'd be pissed.
I'm going to say right now, if I was not on that roster, I would be thinking I'm not going there. I would think that any time I thought I had a chance to get myself over better, it's not there. I literally, and this is, again, all I can continue to go to is, it is now plainly obvious and clear as to why Cody Rhodes left.
I'm surprised on that. I guess now he'll pacify himself with the trios, but eventually I wouldn't be surprised if that some bitch goes back for that world title, and the Young Bucks go back for the tag titles.
So I think that's how they're trying to say that. Oh, we're not doing that.
But Cody's like, hey, he never went for the. He said when he first started, I'm never going for the world title.
He was, however, the first 3-time TNT champion.
Okay. And at that time, they were building that. So I'm okay with that. He was helping build stars. Because look who he had. And not Guevara, but what's my man's name?
Guevara.
I'm going to say Brody.
No, but Brody Lee, Guevara. I mean, Guevara's now a 3-time.
Yeah.
That I'm cool Scorpio with. Sky. I mean, Cody basically relegated himself to the mid card because he wanted to see AEW elevate.
Yep.
And here's what's crazy about it. It's obvious now. It's obvious, Tino. You can smell it. I don't ever want to see the Young Bucks in the WWE. I don't want Triple H to sit there and go, these guys are cash.
I don't think he will.
However, if Triple H did ever sign them,
I want another OC with his ass. The Good Brothers.
but if Triple H did sign them, he would have complete creative control over their career. Right now,
You don't think they would come in there trying to push that shit like they want creative control?
I think Triple H would sit there and give them 6 months, give them the tag titles, and then he would job the motherfuckers out. So I want you to remember, before AEW was even a thing, Triple H, Chief Creative Officer, Head of Creative Talent, tried to get Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks right before AEW became a thing. Oh, yeah. He offered them the world. Okay? Big time contract numbers, everything else, and they turned it down. They even came out and said, we were given very nice offers. We were given contracts that really had to make us think of what was going on. But Cody and Tony Khan told us to just wait and made us think about what was coming out. Because remember, Tony Khan was Cody's friend, not the Young Bucks. And let's all think back to where this all started. When Kenny Omega was part of New Japan and the Young Bucks were part of Ring of Honor, and Cody Rhodes got let go by WWE because he asked for his release and they actually granted it. Cody Rhodes went and he found friends. He found the Young Bucks in Ring of Honor. But he said, I made a list of all the people that I want to wrestle. Right? And he wrestled all of them, except for one guy on that list.
Okay.
No. The one guy he hasn't wrestled on that list that he created was Roderick Strong.
Okay. But you can do that. They call Roddy up.
They don't even have to call him up. They could have Cody go down.
That's true.
You know?
That's true.
They just have to make sure that Roddy's still under contract. And they can do it. But regardless, when Cody became friends with the Bucks, Cody started learning how to run the independent industry. And he talks about it all the time. He's talked about it multiple times. He's like, this is how people can actually sustain themselves and actually make a living doing this. They get to a point where Cody starts sitting there and branching out and saying, who do I know? Who are my friends? Who can I talk to about? And do you think it was Kenny Omega that talked to Tony Khan? Do you think it was the Young Bucks that talked to Tony Khan? Do you think it was, interestingly enough, Chris Jericho might have been the one that talked to Tony Khan?
Okay.
And that whole thing may have actually come from Kenny Omega talking to Chris Jericho, and I know I'm taking some time, I apologize. But Kenny Omega talking to Chris Jericho, Don Callis being involved in that because they were both from Winnipeg, so they both had a way to talk to each other. They set up the New Japan match at Wrestle Kingdom 13, right, which was the number one selling pay-per-view that Wrestle Kingdom's ever done, right? From there, when it came to Tony Khan's involvement with All Out, or All In, or whatever the very first one was, Chris Jericho was talking to Vince McMahon. You remember that?
Yes.
And Vince McMahon and Chris Jericho were talking about like whether or not Chris Jericho should ever wrestle in the United States, not for Vince McMahon. And Vince was like, well, this is what I'm willing to offer. And Jericho was like, they're offering this. Well, Jericho, I'm not going to tell you not to take it. Okay. I didn't want to wrestle in the United States for anybody else, but you're saying, okay. Takes it, right? So now Tony Khan is the one that flies Jericho in.
Okay.
So Tony Khan and Jericho know each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's all probably part of the Kenny Omega thing. But none of all that happens without Cody Rhodes sitting there calling in every favor that he's got for every little thing that's ever happened. But the whole thing started because Cody joined the Bucks. Right? So when you think about it, the four of them got together and started making this whole thing happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know when it changed. We started hearing about it. Obviously, we're like, oh, Dave Meltzer's sitting there saying that the four EVPs can't get along and blah blah blah, whatever the case might be. But now you legitimately see that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are totally in it for themselves.
Yeah.
If they walk out of this best of 7 series with that trios title,
they will.
I'm just saying, if they do.
When they do.
When they walk out with those trios titles, there is never another reason to watch that portion of the show. Like if somebody is watching on DVR and you see a trios match,
fast forward.
You might as well fast forward. Because it doesn't matter if Kenny Omega is never going to be world champion in AEW again. That match isn't going to matter. The thing, and I want to point out one other thing when it comes to MJF, and then we can talk about.
Well, after this, that's 2 hours. We still hadn't gotten to the pay-per-view.
We're not going to talk about the pay-per-view, but we can talk about like the bloodline, because that's what's important. When we look at I lost my train of thought.
The young, you're talking about Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. No use in watching the trios matches again. Even if Kenny Omega's not going to be champion again.
I don't remember.
Bloodline.
Let's talk about the bloodline.
You get that.
There was something I really wanted to say there too, and I completely lost it.
You'll remember it.
So next week.
Yeah. Just write it down.
No. I'll forget it again, I'm sure. There's no point. The bloodline. Sami Zayn sitting there encroaching Kevin Owens.
Did a haluva kick?
What?
Did he haluva kick? No.
He did. He did haluva kick him.
And he caught him. That's right.
And then he caught him, and then he let him down, and then he gave him the Jey Uso. Dude, there is no better storytelling in wrestling.
Yeah.
Because Monday night last week, we get Jey Uso sitting there saying, they broke my hand for real. And he goes ahead and he is in a match
Kevin Owens.
with Kevin Owens.
Yeah, last week or this week? That was this week.
Was it this week?
It was this week.
And how that match ended.
Hmm?
And how that match ended.
Kevin Owens won.
Right, but like the bloodlines together.
Yeah.
Because last week, wait, no. Was it this week? When Kevin Owens sat there and he said, I want to tell everybody, I'm so happy for you because now the world knows exactly how good Sami Zayn is.
Yeah, but that's what he also, and I'm done with you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to wrestle you. That was this week. And then Jimmy spoke up. He goes, "Oh, that's good because I don't want to know him."
Jay said
Yeah,
that.
he was. I don't want to know him, but I want to fight. We can fight tonight. That was this past Monday.
And during that whole thing, it was amazing to see how much Kevin was just bearing his soul to the audience of hey, this is really look at this. This is he's so good. And you guys are finally realizing how good he is.
Yep.
And yet it pisses me off because I'm just as good. But the people that he surrounded himself with are assholes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he also said, what did he say? He said, I'm not even, yeah, that's what it was. He was saying, because he said he didn't want anything to do. He was, I'm not even mad at you. He said, because I'd have done the same thing.
He did?
He said, I'd have done the same thing. So I'm not mad at you. I don't want to, and that's what he said, I'm done with you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to, and then Sam's like, well, that's good, because I don't want to be in the same room with you either. And kind of, because you could tell it kind of hurt him. He's like, because his facial, he's like, well, me neither, kind of thing. So, yeah, that was a good promo.
On top of that, on Monday Night Raw, Austin Theory.
Oh, dude. That dude's a monster now. Well, not you know what I'm saying? He's not now, but he's well on his way to that. I like the attitude change.
So I sent you the TikTok of Triple H interviewing or being interviewed. And he's like, yeah, should we talk about Austin Theory, where his career was over a couple weeks ago, but now all of a sudden the guy's a monster?
I don't think I got that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just said it, but on top of that, did you hear how many times he flubbed his lines this week?
Austin?
Yeah. Yeah,
he's nervous. I mean, they're kind of. I think he knows that they're pushing him. I think it might be. I don't want to say it's too much too soon, but he got nervous. I think he got nervous.
And I gotta ask you, because the world wants to know what the fuck was Seth Rollins fucking wearing this week when he went into Becky Lynch's lingerie drawer and decided to wear a fucking outfit out of that and walk out to talk to Austin Theory. I gotta be honest, dude. What the fuck? There. That was my rant for tonight, by the way.
That's our second rant for tonight.
No, that was my real rant.
I don't know. Yeah. I was. No, I don't want to talk about it.
Did you see that Trish Stratus posted something that said,
did.
But she posted something that said, who wore it better? And it was Trish Stratus or Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
and then there was another one where Nikki Bella was like, hey, I think I wore this outfit at this award ceremony.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody came for him. It was funny.
Yeah. Dude, the only thing I can think there, because there's no way that they went, yeah, you should go out there wearing that. There's no way that happened. The only thing I can think is that he literally sat there and got dared to do it by one of the other people backstage in a total kayfabe manner, where it's just the boys sitting there calling out the boys, and they were like, oh, I bet you can't come up with a better outfit than your, two-color drip the last week or whatever. And he goes, what? And he walked out wearing that.
Another question I want to ask, because I saw this on the Becky Lynch and Damage Control. Do you think it made, because I read somewhere somebody thought that it made Damage Control look weak for all three of them to get their asses handed to them by Becky Lynch at the same time.
We watched the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
When Steve Austin would come down to the ring,
and we get in there with 20 people in there and kick ass, stun everybody.
well, not even necessarily 20.
Oh,
But
that's right. But yeah,
sure. But when he had
he was outnumbered.
when he had those moments of he just and he come down. Now here's the difference. He would literally just walk down, come in, and stun somebody, and all of a sudden everybody else would start coming at and stun another person, and then stun another person. We had no problem with that. So do we think it makes them look weak?
I don't.
Here's my point to that. Who was the last one to get Becky Lynch's hands? Probably Bayley, right?
Yeah.
So if Bayley was the last one to get the hands, then I have no problem with it.
Okay.
If Bayley's the first person to get the hands, then I have a major problem with it.
And then they also...
Because she's supposed to be the chicken shit heel.
Yeah. Then I also noticed backstage where Bianca was like, yeah, my girls. And you know, I called Becky and da-da-da. Did you see Alexa? Alexa's kind of like... And also, I didn't notice it until somebody pointed out. I had to go and watch it. When Alexa is standing there for a split second on the Raw screen behind her, the Bray thing, did you see it?
Dude, they've been doing that for months.
I didn't notice it. So I went back and watched it. Like, yeah, and she was just kind of in a trance. And then the interviewer was like, "Oh, what do you think?" Alexa goes, "Oh yeah, Becky was a good idea." So, is she getting tired of these two about to turn, or that's just Bray getting back into her head?
I think she's supposed to be like more and more hypnotized.
So she's right. That's all I got.
But I'll tell you what, if they don't do it correctly, no one's going to care.
I'm getting tired of Bray just doing in-ring promos. I'm ready for him to get in the fucking ring and fight or do something. And the Uncle Howdy thing. I mean, come on, let's figure out who this bitch is, because I think it's Bo.
Hey guys, this is Jay Lethal.
Why is it still playing? It's still playing. I can't stop it. I don't know what's going on with that.
That's all we got, folks. So what did Michael Turner had a big thing there?
Oh, did he? Michael Turner said, "I don't want to see Banks back in WWE when they bring back Banks and Charlotte. They are going to keep them in the title picture."
I don't think Banks is coming back, but I read that maybe Naomi come back, and I think they bring her in the bloodline.
I think they'll both be back.
But Banks copyrighted a whole lot of things under her. So,
well, she's learning. And think about it. When she started with the WWE, she was like 20.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that she had was owned by them.
Right.
Now she's sitting there starting to, and I mean, you know,
smart.
like recently, I saw something where The Rock actually was asked by Howard Stern, and this was 10 years ago or whatever, but Howard Stern was like, "Who owns The Rock?" And he goes, "I do." And they're like, "But Vince McMahon owned it." He's like, "Yeah, Vince McMahon and I had a conversation about it, and he gave it to me." And he was like, Are you serious? Because like Vince McMahon doesn't give shit away." And he's like, "No, he doesn't." But, and I have a feeling something along those lines is The Rock signed something that said he'll never sign with another wrestling company. Yeah. And he will always speak positively of the WWF or WWE.
I mean, why wouldn't he though? I mean, that's where he made it.
And I mean, when SmackDown was on Fox for the first time, he showed up, and
that's his show.
Well, yeah, but
yeah,
but you know what I mean. But yeah, and that's just it. Like it's one of those things.
You broke that new phone?
No, the new one's over there.
Oh,
I told you that the new one I dropped earlier tonight, but it didn't break. I told you that. I'm looking for the oh, there it is.
All right, ladies and
Germs.
and gentlemen.
Why don't you go ahead and take us out of this?
I don't remember all these fucking. All right. On the Twitter, I am HoodieFan91. I don't remember me. This one here is at Potcheck. Rob Potsy Potcheck.
On
Instagram. And he's
TikTok.
And TikTok he is Rob Pot, yeah. And then on Instagram he is Rob Potcheck. He is Junior High Horrors. He is Rob Potsy Potcheck. He is your other one. All right. On Twitch, because you've been Twitch streaming.
Rob Potsy Potcheck on Twitch.
All right. And then on Instagram, I'm SC Tino. On the Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. On Twitter, Potsy and Tino.
YouTube,
we're here at the Pots and Pans Network. He is Rob Pot.
Just Rob Potcheck.
Rob Potcheck. All right. Pots and Pans Network. Please make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notifying bell.
Oh, I'm on Hive now.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you hear about Hive?
I gotta fucking memorize that.
Did you hear about Hive?
No.
Hive is the one that everybody's going to because they left Twitter.
Because of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is a jackass because just to be spiteful when all the people that he fired, he had all their key cards cut off, and so people couldn't leave the parking garage.
Did you hear how he fired people?
Yeah, but then no. Here's my favorite part: the genius, the dumbass, when he cut off all the key cards, he couldn't get back in his own fucking building because he cut his off too. So I had to call him and say, "Hey, let me in."
Did you hear how he
probably email?
So, no, he fired everybody, but he created an AI to do it in funny voices. So, like, he had, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice firing people from Twitter.
Anyway, what's this hot shit? I might be leaving Twitter.
Hive is the new Twitter, basically. If you go to Hive app.
Who runs it?
I don't know.
Is it Meta?
But it's open source.
Oh.
Which means it's meant for everybody.
Okay.
And I am Rob Potsy Potcheck on Hive. I'm also on Mastodon.
We want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for our theme song, the wrestling song. You can get it on iTunes for 99 cents, 99. Make sure when you give us a thumbs up and you subscribe, you buy our shit. And until next week, play the fucking music. I'm done with you tonight. It's past my.
Well, I'll say this. So a couple weeks ago, everybody was like, "I'm leaving Twitter. I'm going to Mastodon." Right? So I set up a Mastodon account. Then all of a sudden, the next week, everybody sits there and says, "I'm leaving Twitter. I'm going to Hive." And I said, "Okay, I'll set up a Hive account." And then all of a sudden, like people are still sitting there going, "Well, we're still on Twitter, but we're leaving Twitter, so where are we going now?" And I said, "Just tell me where I'm going next week." But like Tino said, thanks so much for joining us. Buy our shit.
Buy our shit.
And we'll see you next week, folks.
Bye.
We love you.
Thank you.
Everybody wants to be the next boy.
Oh, God. Oh, shit.
I don't even know what I hit.